my friends, and welcome back to another video. As you know, it is November. The end of the year is slowly approaching. 2021 is almost over, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm happy or if I'm sad or angry or depressed. I don't really know. All I know is that the end of the year is coming. And I'm realizing that a bunch of the books that I bought towards the beginning of the year, I haven't read. And I have decided to make this video. It's mostly to hold myself accountable. I am going to try to actually do this. We'll see. But this is my end of the year hopefuls. What I really want to read before the end of the year. A lot of these books have been on my list pretty much this entire year, or at least for several months out of the year, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. That's the problem with being a mood reader, is I buy books when they sound good, I get them, I don't read them, then I find more books that I want, and then it's just a cycle. So this is a list of books that I want to try to read before the end of the year. I feel like this is a very big commitment, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to try. You know, it might happen. It might not, but it might, and that would be really cool if I could get them read before the end of the year. I mean, I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm gonna share with you the books that I really want to read before 2021 is over. I'm not going to talk too much about each individual book because, like I've said, they're either A, popular, B, I've talked about them before, or C, I'm sure you've heard of them. So I'm going to give a brief synopsis on each, but mostly just going to talk about the book, why I haven't gotten to it yet, and why I want to get to it before the end of the year, I guess. I don't really know. I'm winging the video, like always. I'm winging it, but let's get into the list, shall we? First up is The Good House by Tananarive Due. I am so angry that I haven't read this yet. I'm so angry, I'm so mad at myself, and honestly the reason that I haven't read this book yet, I think, is the size. It is it's a hefty book. It's a big chunk, it's a chonker, and the print is kind of small. It's kind of small. And unfortunately for me, this is just a personal thing, when I read a very large book, several things can happen, but one of them is it takes me a really long time, especially if I'm not super into it. I have to force myself to read, which I'm trying to DNF now, so that's not a problem as much as it used to be. But sometimes I get into really bad reading slumps after I've read a really long book because it just takes so much out of you to read a really long one. That's why my limit is usually about 350, maybe 400. 400 is pushing it, to be honest. But I typically don't like to read anything over 350 to 400 usually. I don't know. Wait, how long is this book? Oh yeah, it's almost 500 pages. And this is I'm just nervous. I think I'm gonna love it. I do, because I've heard so many good things about it. It's a haunted house story. It sounds amazing. I've heard amazing things about Tananarive Due as an author. I'm dying to read her work, but, and I want to read this one so bad. I love haunted houses, but I'm just so nervous it's gonna put me in a slump or something. I'm not gonna be able to get through it, and I'm gonna be mad at myself. I don't know. Big books are just intimidating sometimes, and I'm nervous. And I think I keep putting it off because I'm scared that I'm gonna push myself into a reading slump or something. I don't know, but I'm just nervous about it. So I haven't been able to bring myself to read it yet. But I'm excited to read it, and I think it's going to be a great book. I hope I get to it by the end of the year, before the end of the year, because I want to read it so bad. I want to read it so bad. I feel like these next books aren't going to come as a surprise, but it's just Darcy Coates books. In general, actually, just all of the rest of her books that I haven't read. I really want to read before the end of the year. I do want to plan a ranking video, talking about my favorite Darcys, my least favorite Darcys, a guide to Darcy Coates maybe. I don't know. I'm not like an expert on her books, but I just would like to make a video like that. I think it'd be fun, and I feel passionately about her books, so I thought it would be fun. But these are just 3 that I have currently that I haven't read yet. That's The Haunting of Gillespie House, which is a haunted house story, obviously. Parasite, which is an alien book by her, which I am very interested in. I'm so interested in this one. I have no idea how I'm going to feel about it. I don't know if I'm going to hate it. I'm very particular about alien stories in horror, so I'm very interested about this one. And then The Whispering Dead. I still haven't read this. It's driving me insane. Oh my gosh, why do I do this to myself? I believe I have another one of her books on the way. I'm slowly just buying a Darcy book or 2 as I can. These are just the 3 that I currently have in my possession. But ideally, I would like to get the rest of her books that I haven't read. I believe I'm missing like 6. I don't know. I think I'm missing 6. So I feel like that's not gonna happen. I really want to though. I would like to get all of her work done and then have a video for you guys. If you want to see it, I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Next up on this list is House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland. I always forget who writes this book. I don't know why. I look at it and then it leaves my brain the minute I have to say it. This was a cover buy for me. Honestly, I think it's absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that. Woo! But everyone raves about this book. I've heard so many people love this book. Everyone's talking about this book. Everybody loves this book. And I believe it's like fairy tale-esque horror. I believe. This is about the Holo sisters who disappeared as kids. They come back like a month later with no memory of it, and then years later one of the sisters goes missing again and the other 2 have to go search for her. I believe that's what it's about. Yes, so I don't really know. Sounds very interesting. It's a pretty short book. I might try to get to it soon, actually, like maybe this month, hopefully. But I've just heard so many good things about it. I want to read it. It looks fun. It sounds good. I've had it for a while and I keep pushing it off. This next one is another one that I'm actually pretty mad about that I haven't read yet. I want to shake myself. Why are you putting it off? Why haven't you read it yet? What is wrong with you? Like, that's like what's going through my head, but like I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. And that is Penance by Kane Minato. You know that I read Confessions this year, and it is one of my favorite books now of all time. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It shocked me. It rocked my world. It left me mind blown, okay? I loved Confessions. One of my favorite books of the year, of ever, forever and ever. I loved it. When I saw this book by the author, I knew I had to have it. It's another revenge story, which I think I'm gonna absolutely love. This author has a way with a revenge story. Hopefully, if it's anything like Confessions, I'm gonna love it just as much. I hope. How many times am I gonna cross my fingers hoping in this video? But I'm mad that I haven't read it yet. And I honestly think I've been putting this one off because Confessions blew me away so much that I'm nervous this won't live up to Confessions. I'm just nervous, and it's not going to be a big deal if I like Confessions more than this one. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, so I don't know why I'm making it like a super big deal. But I think I'm just like scared that it's not going to be as good and I'm going to be so disappointed. A lot of people have told me this is just as good. Confessions is better, I believe. A lot of people agree on that. But this one is good too, and it was fun and like a good read. So I think I'm just nervous because Confessions was so good, and I'm just so worried that this won't be as good. And I think that's why I'm putting it off, because it's not that long. It's not that long. It's not. Like, just read it. What's taking me so long? Just read it. Just read it, Erin. Just read it. Just read it. Ah! This next book is going to be similar to The Good House. Well, not in like the plot, but just in my reasoning. That is Let the Right One In by John Ajvide Lindquist? I don't know how to say his name. This is the same reason I've put off The Good House. It's a big chunky book, okay? It is how many pages? 470 something. That's big. And so I'm nervous that this is either A, just gonna not interest me, I'm gonna get bored, I'm gonna want to DNF it, or it's gonna put me in a slump after I read it. And that makes me so nervous. I have this thing with big books. I don't know. It's like a mental block, I guess. But I want to read this so bad. I watched Let the Right One In, the Swedish version, earlier this year. Absolutely loved it. And I have to read this book. I have to read this book. I have technically been putting it off because I wanted to read it this winter, which I am planning to read it. I want this to be a December book. So this is part of my winter TBR, which is why I've technically been kind of putting it off. But I think more than that, it's just because I'm nervous of the size. So I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't actually ruin my life. I mean, it can ruin me in like a good way. I just hope it doesn't ruin me in a bad way and set a whole horrible narrative for the rest of the month. But I really want to read this book. I'm not a big vampire fan, but this story, when I watched the movie, I was so in love with it. I didn't tell you, it's a vampire story. I've seen the American movie Let Me In, I believe it's called, yes. I didn't like it as much as Let the Right One In, the Swedish version, so I'm hoping I like the book. I hope. I've heard great things. I don't know. I'm nervous. Also, this cover is so ugly. It's the movie cover. I bought a different cover because I got this in the mail and I was like, ew, I don't like this. So I did purchase another copy with a different cover because I don't want to read this one. I mean, I will if I have to, but like, I want a pretty one, you know? Anyways, I hope to get to this one by the end of the year. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. Next up is another hyped book, another book that everyone's been talking about, and that is The Push by Ashley Audrain, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. But this book, I'm trying to not let it glare, sorry. The glare is very bad. This is a creepy kid book. It's about a mom with a kid who, you know, she just feels like something's off with this child, you know? So I've heard a lot of people have been shocked by this book. I don't know, everyone's been talking about it. Everyone loves it. I've seen really, really good reviews. I like a creepy kid moment. I don't know if this is going to be more like creepy kid. It kind of gives me, what's that book called? Where is it? Do I have it on my shelves? Baby Teeth. It reminds me kind of Baby Teeth. I had to look up, I forgot what it was called. It reminds me of Baby Teeth. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like Baby Teeth, but that's what it's giving me vibes of. But it sounds along those lines. Baby Teeth, we need to talk about Kevin. I don't know. People have been raving about this book all year. I still haven't read it. It's killing me. I might read this next, to be honest. After the book I'm reading right now, I might pick this one up. I might just do it, like dive in, you know, just like read it, just do it. So I might do it. I don't know. Tell me if you've read it. Is it good? I hope so. Next up is slightly different than the rest of the books that I've been talking about. I'm just throwing you a curveball here, but that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston or McQuiston? I don't know. This is a romance, but it is a romance between two men. One is, of course, a royal son. He's a young royal. And then the other is the United States president's son, and they have like a beef with each other, but then they like fall in love and they're like, oh, what do we do about our families? What do we do in our positions? Like, how do we be a couple? I don't know. It sounds really cute. I've heard great things about it, okay? And I have been trying to break up my reading. Like, I've been reading a lot of thrillers recently to try to give myself a break from horror. I want to read some romance to try to give my brain a break from, you know, the sad, the scary, the spooky. I'm also just trying to give myself a break, so hopefully I don't overwhelm myself and do what I did in October and not read anything. So this one just sounds really good. Everyone says it's really cute. I like the representation in it. Hopefully it's, you know, it does a good job of that. It sounds cute. What more can I ask for? It sounds cute, and I haven't read it yet, even though it was one of my very first, I think it was my second book of the month box. It was in one of my second book of the month box. It was in one of the first book of the month boxes that I ever got, so I've had it for a while and I just haven't reached for it, but I might try to read it this month, to be honest. It sounds fun. It sounds cute. I don't know, I'm excited. Next up, Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I know Riley Sager is a super controversial, I guess. I don't know if it's controversial, but people either love him or hate him. I have seen so many people hate his books over and over again. What I've read from him, I enjoyed. I read Final Girls. I really liked it. I read Survive the Night. I also really liked it. Apparently, most people find his books to be very mediocre or meh or blah. I don't know. People seem to not really care for it. I think they're pretty good so far from what I read. I enjoy it. I want to read the rest of his books. I have this one and The Last Time I Lied, and I just got Lock Every Door in my November book of the month. It's one of my extras. So I want to read his books. I'm excited. I think he's a decent thriller writer. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think you either love him or you hate him. I personally like his books. I don't think they're that bad that everyone thinks they are, so whatever. But, you know, to each their own. If you hate his books, don't read them, obviously. But I really want to get to this one because people have said that this is more horror-esque. It, like, rides a fine line between thriller and horror. It sounds like it's a lot like the Amityville Horror because it's about this woman whose dad wrote a book about the house that they lived in, talking about all the hauntings and stuff, and people think that he's like lying and it's all made up. She thinks he's lying and it's all made up. Then she inherits the house and she goes to renovate it and she starts experiencing some things, thinking that maybe, oh, my dad's not lying. Maybe this was some truth to it after all. So it reminds me of the Amityville a lot. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun, especially since it sounds supernatural. So I'm just excited. Like I said, it's an easy read. It's a thriller. I think Riley Sager's books are pretty easy to just get into and read and enjoy. They're not like super hard to read. They don't take a lot of effort and they're fun. Maybe I have to suspend disbelief a little bit. I do that kind of a lot anyways, so whatever. But I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Whatever. I'm excited to read this one. It sounds good. And last but not least, in this end of the year hopefuls, is that what I'm calling it? Is that what other people call it? End of the year hopefuls? The books I want to read before the end of the year? Whatever. This one, I honestly don't know why I put it off. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Literally, I have a lot of things wrong with me, and this is just one of them, I guess. So that is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I'm a big fan of Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and My Best Friend's Exorcism are my two favorites by him. I absolutely loved them. I think he's a great writer. I love his mix of horror and comedy. I think it's great. I love the final girl trope. Final girl trope is one of my favorites. I'm excited to read this. I've heard a lot of people don't like it. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard a lot of people saying it's very meh. It's very average. It's very meh. You know, I don't know. I really like the final girl trope. And I like the way he writes. So I'm hoping this isn't going to be meh to me. So from what I know, this is about a support group of final girls. They all endured these traumatic events. They were the last one standing, the final girl. And then someone comes in trying to ruin their lives, trying to mess things up. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't really say. I don't really want to know until I start reading it. But, you know, they have each other. They have this support group and they're gonna fight like they always do. They're gonna do what final girls do. They're gonna fight for their lives. So I think it sounds good. Sounds like something I would enjoy. I love a Grady Hendrix book. It sounds fun. I've heard mixed reviews. Who knows? I don't know why I've put this one off. Maybe because people have been saying that it's meh and it scared me or something. I don't know. But I'm excited. I want to read it. Maybe I'll read it this month too. I'm going to try to get a few of these in this month, hopefully. Especially since I'm doing pretty well this month. I'm hoping. I've been reading a lot of thrillers this month so far, so maybe I'll just add some more in. But I'm excited to get to this one. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like I'll like it. I don't know. I'm excited. And there you have it. My friends, those are 11, I believe it was 11 books I just showed you. 11 books that I am hoping to get read by the end of 2021. Will I do it? You know, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm gonna do it. I want to know. Put your bets in. Do you think I will get, and maybe not all of them, I want you to give me a number down below on how many of these that I just showed you you think I will actually read by the end of 2021. Do you have faith in me? Or do you know me really well and you think that I won't get any of these read? I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna get at least some of these read. I think I'll at least get half. I would say about 5 or 6 of them I think I'll at least get read, but I would like to get them all, hopefully. Fingers crossed, like I said, throughout this whole video I've been crossing my fingers. Okay, this was a fun video, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We can become friends, talk about my terrible reading habits, about the fact that I buy books without reading them and let them sit on my shelves for an entire year. Please, that would be so much fun. I need someone that understands me. I hope you are having a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!